Today I want to talk about the Housing Development Act, the HDA, and how it can help you as a buyer or investor when you buy any residential properties in Malaysia. Now here's the Housing Development Act. It's broken down into 5 stages, stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And stage 2 is broken down into 2A until 2H. So whenever you hear someone say stage 2A, 2B, okay, this is what they're referring to. Now the main purpose of this act is to help protect the buyers when they buy residential properties in Malaysia, to ensure that the developers finish building the project. Because here's what happened in the past. Before the HDA was announced by the government, there were several small-time developers or shady developers. They had the power to take the money from the bank loans that people used to buy the house, or even cash buyers. And what happened is, well, there's a possibility that the developers can run away with the money or even use that money for something else. I'll give you an example. This is a story that one of my friends told me. He said that there was this one developer that took the money and tried to gamble it off to increase the money. But you know, with gambling, most of the time people lose, and that's what happened. That person lost the money. And it was a very eventually he got back the money in another way. But my point is, the developers, they're not controlled at that point, so they can do whatever they want with the money. So now comes the HDA, which is to protect the buyers from anything like this ever happening again. So you have 2 ways of buying properties. One is for the person applies a bank loan from the bank, and if someone who's very rich, like a Tan Sri or Dato, they have a lot of cash on hand, they can pay with cash. Now whatever the case is, the money will only be dispersed to the developer's HDA account, which is controlled by the government. And then only after that will it only be transferred to the developer's bank account to be used to continue building the project. Now this is why this act is very important. You see these stages, they will only get access to this the money according to the stages after they finished it. So for the first stage, for example, I'll explain in detail each and every one of these stages. But now I'll just give you a rough summary here. And for the SPA signing stage, stage 1 for example, they can only get 10% from the buyer, and then 2A another 10%, after they finish 2B another 15%, and so on and so forth. Now for stage 1, the SPA signing, whenever you buy a property, the maximum loan amount you can get for that property is 90% from the banks. That's the law that the Bank Negara has set. Nobody can change it. It cannot go more, it can go less. Now after you place the booking and submitted the bank loan documents to the banker, and then they check your documents, they approve the loan, you're going to have to sign the SPA to buy the property. Now at that point you're going to have to pay the 10% down payment plus these extra fees. Now I call these hidden fees because not many people are aware of these fees, and even before I knew anything about properties, I never knew that these even existed, like legal fees, stamp duties, disbursements. I'll do another video about this in the future. Now for these payments, it depends on the developer whether or not you have to pay it immediately or they give you a time frame to pay it off. Like for example, if the developer gives you a period of like 24 months, a bank installment to pay the 10% down payment, so 0% interest for 24 months to pay off the 10% down payment. And there are some developers that do that. Now when you buy sub-sale properties, most of the time you're going to have to pay the 10% down payment plus all of these extra fees, legal fees, stamp duties, everything. But the good thing about projects is that most developers give you discounts and rebates. Now discounts and rebates, they're not the same thing, but I'll leave that to another video in the future. Okay, so for example, if you're going to have to pay a 10% down payment on the property and the developer gives you a 6% rebate, so you're going to have to cover the other 4% to pay during the SPA signing stage. And the good thing, another good thing about projects is most of the extra fees are given away free by the developer or waived. Meaning maybe SPA legal fee, SPA loan legal fee, loan stamp duty. Depends on the project, depends on the developer whether or not which ones they want to give for free. Now for stage 2, 2A is piling. Now this is the most important stage because it serves as the foundation for the building. If this fails, everything will fail. So they have to make sure that the foundation is strong. Okay, only after they finish the piling can the developer request the 10% money from the bank and also the cash buyer, which goes into the HDA account and then goes to the developer's bank account for them to use to continue building the project. Now for 2B, the structural framework of the parcel. The parcel refers to the unit, so the unit condo. 2C, walls, door and window frames. After they finish all of that, only can the developers claim the other 10%. 2D, roofing, electrical wiring, plumbing, gas pipings. Basically the roof and also the hardware inside the walls, like the wirings and everything. I'm sorry. Okay, 2E, the plaster, meaning the interior and also the exterior of the plaster walls and also the ceiling. 2F, 2G and 2H will cover the sewerage around the building, drains around the building, and also the roads that serve connecting the building to the other roads outside. Okay, for stage 3, now this is where the purchaser takes the vacant possession. Now after everything is completed, the building has been done, the inspection has been done for the safety and regulations all in place. VP VP simply means when the buyer gets the key to the new house or unit, and also when the electricity and water supply are already connected to the house, so the people so it's ready to be used. So only after this will the other 12.5% can be claimed by the developer. Stage 4, Memorandum of Transfer, MOT, 2.5%. Now for condos or high-rise buildings, it might take a few years, and maybe 2 to 3 years, depending on the project, depending on the developer, when you're going to have to pay this. So when you get when the developer builds a building, every unit will fall under the master title under the developer, right? So after a few years, after you've paid the MOT, only then will the title change from master title to strata title for homeowners. There's also another one, individual title, but I won't go deep into this. Maybe I'll do another video in the future about this. But yeah, that's the MOT. Stage 5, the defect liability period. Now you remember when you buy electrical appliances like a TV or microwave, you have a warranty for a product for maybe like 1 year. So if anything wrong happens, you can contact the manufacturer. Either they'll fix it or they'll replace a new one. Same thing goes for buying residential properties as well, because the developers aren't perfect. No matter how perfect their track record is, there might be something that's wrong with the property, maybe a few defects here and there. So from the moment the buyer gets the key until 2 years later, which equates to 24 months, they have a warranty which is called the defect liability period. So if anything wrong happens in the house, let's say there's something wrong with the electrical wiring, the plumbing not working well, or it's broken for whatever reason, which is not done by the homeowners themselves, remember. So if it suddenly happened, then you have the right to go to the developer, complain, and they have to fix it up. So here's a summary of the HDA, Schedule H for condos and also Schedule G for landed individual title properties. Now I'll give an example for a property that has an SPA price of 500,000. Now here's for the SPA signing stage, you're gonna have to pay the 10%. Stage 2A, another 10%, 50,000. 2B, 15%, 75,000, and so on and so forth. 2C and 2H, all of these. Stage 3, 4, and 5, all of these. So all of these from stage 1 until stage 5 will equate to 500,000. So that's basically how it works. Alright, so I hope that you found this video useful. I'm sorry it took quite long because I wanted to explain it as much as I can, everything I know about this, so that you have a clear picture of how the HDA can help protect you from the developers doing anything shady. Now if you found this video useful, I'd appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe, and also drop a comment down below if you have anything to add on, or if you want me to do another video about any other topic related to Malaysian properties. And thanks for watching and have a nice day.